How's everybody doing today? Give me a one in the chat if you can hear me. Give me one in the chat if you can hear me. Shout out to my man Ty for joining me. Shout out to Casual Economist. You see it, let's get it. I know I haven't said that in a while. Shout out to the original tagline. Wire Dog, PBO House, I appreciate you. Shout out to him. I was sharing this stuff, but he probably bigger than me now. Shout out to Wire Dog, doing great content out here. Give me a one in the chat if you can hear me. Give me a one in the chat if you can hear me. Shout out to my man Jeffrey Johnson, doing something different on this Thursday. Always talking about liking society at a bigger level. Appreciate that one. Here, let me kill the music. I'm not a big music guy when I'm talking. That always irks me when people play music. So I think I'm getting old. Shout out to me. I'm getting old. You know how we do it. Shout out to Hey Harsh. Appreciate you. Appreciate the one tie. See if my big dog is in the house, Chris Whitlock, who's chopping it up on his Discord. So you see it right there. AI dangers, risk to society. We always talk about the good part of AI. It's gonna revolutionize the planet, take all the work. We'd be living like Star Trek. It's all good. No rush, no rush. No rush, no rush. So just gonna talk about some of the things people are talking about in there, talking about running. Shout out to my man, Kiki and Jasmine. I think he's in the European world over there, like it's in another planet. Shout out to him over there. I ain't seen my man Min Min in a while. I need to reach out to him. He did wish me a happy new year. That's my ISO guy if I need it. I'm kind of easily moving over to ISO a little bit. There's a lot of United States corporations kind of digging on ISO. Let me play something real quick. Let me play something. See if I can show it. I'm out here tired already. I got to get it together. Got to get it together. Yeah, clickbait. Not clickbait, but there's some interesting things coming up. Boom, boom. I don't think I've heard of that, Wire Dog. There's just so many webs out there talking about it. I don't know if there was a. I need to go out there and check that out. Then the AI incident database. Here, this is theoretically one of the fathers of AI here. So let's run this real quick. Then we're gonna get started. We'll probably play this a couple times. There's so much out there. Especially that CIS when it comes to no peer pressure out there. I need to get on that. I am struggle streaming, struggling it, always making it happen. So let me see if I could share this real quick. Yep. Let me play this. Same here. Yeah, just so much out there. This is one of the fathers of AI with its deadly settings. So let's peek at this real quick. Just 2 minutes.
We turn now to the new warning from the so-called godfather of artificial intelligence and his message about the jobs of the future. This morning, Geoffrey Hinton, the so-called godfather of AI, has a new warning about the technology he helped create.
I often say 10 to 20% chance they'll wipe us out.
In a new interview with podcast host Stephen Bartlett, Hinton, a Nobel Prize-winning computer scientist, says super-intelligent machines could one day decide humans are...
Go check out that interview. Shout out to my man, the Diary of a CEO, the clips. You said he was second over there. He's been talking a lot about AI and it taking over the world. It's all good, Chris. Whenever I drop the link, whenever you want to come up. No rush, no rush. No, it's all good. So
are no longer needed.
It's smarter than us, right? There's no way we're going to prevent it getting rid of us if it wants to. If you want to know what life's like when you're not the apex intelligence, ask a chicken.
Hinton also warning of the many threats artificial intelligence poses right now, including mass cyber attacks, bioengineered viruses, lethal autonomous weapons, and mass unemployment.
If I'm someone like a legal assistant, a paralegal, they're not going to be needed for very long. For mundane intellectual labor, AI is just going to replace everybody.
His advice for a safer path?
I'd say it's going to be a long time before it's as good at physical manipulation as us.
Okay.
And so a good bet would be to be a plumber.
Still, Hinton believes there's hope, saying despite the risks, AI holds immense promise.
It's going to be magnificent in healthcare and education and more or less any industry that needs to use its data. It's going to be able to use it better with AI.
But he warns the window to make sure AI is safe is closing fast.
We have to face the possibility that unless we do something soon, we're near the end.
Hinton predicts AI will become better than people at most tasks in the next 10 to 20 years.
Now that he's one of the fathers of AI, started, I think he said in the 70s. Some of his textbooks are still used today. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about at a high level, right? I guess some of the issues, we're always talking about the good parts of AI, but there's a few things out there it's kind of scary. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about. So the thing he's put on there, which we talk about a lot and what we live on, is mass cyber attacks was his specific term he used in there. So let's kind of hit that on the first slides. The rise of hacking GPT. Alongside this mentality, a new way of underground tools have emerged, often branding as AI co-pilots for crime. Let's see what my man said. It's only a matter of time before we hit super. Yeah, I think that's a little further off than we think, but I might be wrong. I think we have some technology glitches with the chips to get it up to that level, but it's a matter of time. Is it 5, 10, 15 years? I think that's the question. Some of the new names of the hacking GPT are fraud GPT, phishing, worm, red team, circulated openly among underground channels. These tools are pitched as AI systems that they do great jobs at just writing phishing emails instantly that look real human. Generate scam scripts and chat responses, explain vulnerabilities in plain language, and guide users step by step through attacks. Oh, fact. Shout out to Miner. I'm doing this one tomorrow. Wire Dog, OWASP top 10 LLMs. I'm doing OWASP tomorrow, Friday at lunchtime. If you got a minute, step on in. So yeah, we're gonna walk through the OWASP top 10 for LLMs tomorrow. So shout out to Wire Dog. He's always ahead of the game. But yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about tomorrow. Then we're gonna talk about from an AWS perspective, which most of the LLMs are the same. What services do they have to help you with the OWASP top 10 for LLMs? I've been doing OWASP for applications for 20 years, but of course they expanded to artificial intelligence, especially for the LLMs. So shout out to Wired Out. Come join me tomorrow. We're going to talk about the OWASP top 10 for LLMs and those attacks. Shout out to the purple team. Who still stand on that mass cyber attacks. AI branded hacking services are really aimed at experienced criminals. Instead, they appeal to first-time fraudsters, low-skill hackers, people intimidated by real hacking, or individuals looking for a shortcut rather than expertise. I always call them script kiddies, right? In the pyramid of pain, part of that is script kiddies are at the first level. Usually they didn't worry me as much in the last 15 years, but now with they got malware as a service, so you actually can spin it up like it's a cloud services, and now you add the AI part of that. Script kiddies are way more dangerous than they used to be. I used to be like, if I get my facts. So script kiddies, if I had my firewall decent, get my General Microsoft Defender, get a little intra, I will be okay. But now script kiddies, they got, once again, malware as a service, virus as a service. Now you put the AI piece of that. Now script kiddies are the term kids use, which I hate. They're mid, right? Which is mid-level. Most companies are not doing mid-level cybersecurity hygiene. I hate the term hygiene, by the way. So I think script kiddies now leap up ahead of the game. Facts. Look for click fact. There's a ton of them out there. There are a ton of them out there. Shout out to OWASP. They had something that will go through your website, pull down all your URLs, and try to ping them. And it will kind of tell you what you were missing. It could tell if you were using Tomcat Apache, if you were behind a couple versions. All right, so that click to hack's been out there, but now I think it's at a totally different level, at a scary level. So, like that script young adults. No, facts. I like loose cannon. I like that script young adults. Facts. So, and people don't realize this. They're really the fall guy, the patsies, man. When you move in weight, you give it to the soldiers, so they're gonna get arrested. The money goes up the chain. It stays. A lot of times when script kiddies use 0 days, they give 30% of that to the people that gave them the malware. So if the script kiddies get caught by the FBI, it's not the big guys. They just gave them the software. They're not running it, right? So that's an old school game. So the script kiddies now, your foot soldiers out there, with a click of a button, man, they can take over a company pretty easy. I saw that. Vibe hacking and vibe coding. Yeah. Where I pulled this out of Bleeping Computers, they had vibe hacking in there. I might spin up a pre-recorded on that you mentioned, vibe hacking, vibe coding. So yeah, but once again, I think, you give them the hacking as a service, malware as a service, virus as a service. Now you got these out there too. Fraud GPT, Fish GPT, Worm GPT, your whole red team operations of GPT. Like you said, along with your vibe hacking. Like you said, now we got young adults, not script kiddie. We got young adults causing problems out here. Oh yeah, that's what we're really talking about. That's really what we're talking about, Ty. You hit a button and I think they set it up easier to help the AI hack for you, right? They kind of give you a service. Because even if you're doing AI, you got to kind of know the prompt, kind of know some of the services. They got it where it's a hack as a service. So the prompts are built in, the malware is built in, the phishing's built in. They spin up websites so you can get ransomware. So they give it as a full package for you. So I think, which is the next level of just letting the AI hack for you, they give it the whole infrastructure. Because even if AI hacks for you, which China was using Claude to hack people. We did a video about that a couple of weeks ago. So I think this is the next level of that. So let's go ahead and, like Ty said, AI systems simulated to blackmail or harm humans. Researchers have controlled simulations. That's the key statement in there. Controlled simulations where leading large language models, LLM, exhibited troubled strategic behavior when facing shutdown or replacement. The behaviors included attempted blackmail of a fictional human to avoid being turned off, withholding life-saving actions in a scenario where doing the right thing would mean the model might lose its utility, affecting prioritizing its objective over human well-being, which we always see this in the movies, right? So corporate espionage or leak sensitive information in the simulation settings. Once again, simulation settings. The results came from a research into agentic misalignment, a term when a model's strategic decision processes diverge from human-aligned goals. Important clarification: these are simulations under design test conditions with models given unusual autonomy or internal role-playing goals, not reported of a real AI system independent of blackmailing real people. So what they did is they set up a scenario and see what the AI would choose. The AI thought it was out on the internet, or the AI thought it had autonomous control over these systems. It did not. But we were testing it to see what decisions it was making. And it was making some bad decisions. It attempted to blackmail somebody. It attempted to save itself. It attempted to leak some information to save itself. And once again, misaligned goals from the human versus the agentic agent. Let's see. Prompting a really easy to learn coding and tools. No, that's true. No, I think that's true. I think agentic, is definitely coming full. Now you're talking about cloud. It's using the agents to actually take over the MCP servers, and now it can do stuff for you, right? The prompt says, "Here's your instructions. You do it." Now you can give it access to your VS Code base. You can give it access. It will create the code, compile a code, put the code in test. It'll put the code in production. I wouldn't recommend that, but you can actually give the agents, and we're going to get into that in the future, giving it control so it could build stuff. Then from a GRC perspective, what's the governance of that? What's the manual intervention before you put it in production? Or do you just give it to green light? So I think those are some of the questions that's coming into play. Yep, that's the one I was talking about. That's the one. I just kind of lumped them all together, but that's the one I saw right there, Kiki and Jasmine. The one that tried to blackmail an employee. Oh, yep. So we lumping them all together. Yeah, but definitely a whole new attack surface. Yeah, and I think that's the scary part. We putting in this stuff with no controls and no governance. So I think that's kind of what the conversation is. Putting in everything doesn't scare me unless you give it the autonomy to make a decision. Right? If you put it in something and we put a prompt, then it generates the answer to the prompt. That's fine. But if you letting it build on stuff, you giving it access to an MCP server that once again can create code and build code and run your business and shoot out emails, right? So I think that's where we're trying to figure out where that should be or what the autonomy of that's going to be and what that's going to look like. Researcher reports AI lying, disobeying, and attempting to escape constraints. Multiple outlets reported that advanced AI models have lied to deceive humans, evaluators, and control tests. Sometimes attempts to bypass safety controls encoded during training. And some tests set up try to run commands or action outside of its intended sandbox. These experiments highlight potential safety gaps, not real-world autonomous behavior. Once again, they're putting it in sandboxes to see what it does with those decisions, right? But once again, we see it's making bad decisions. So it's just a matter of time before us or somebody in Japan or some small country just lose control, right? They don't have the maturity level to be really testing AI. The maturity level really to lock everything down. We were discussing why I never do honeypots. That's a big deal for me. Why don't you do honeypots, PBO? We're going to set up unsecured websites inside of our network or outside of our network, right? We have our corporate network. We could have our honeypot network. Then they attack them. Then they take over the honeypot. And some junior network admin didn't set up the subnet right, didn't set up the zero trust right. Now that bot is in our corporate network, or that bad guy that was in honeypot, now he's in our corporate network causing havoc, right? So now we're negligent because we didn't set up our honeypot. So for me, this is an AI honeypot waiting to go bad, just waiting to set us up, waiting to set us, watch us fail. So that's kind of one of my issues, right? Yep, facts. Precursor to Skynet. So, because it's a matter of time, because Anthropic said that already. Anthropic's AI was used to hack the United States. China somehow got into the network and tricked their AI to attacking government installations, saying it was a red team test. Anthropic found it and blocked it. But once again, is if you're using AI to attack, at a certain point, you're gonna need AI to defend. And if we remember right, that was Skynet. It was like, we gotta let Skynet in because they're attacking us, and we manually couldn't keep up. So we had to let Skynet, our AI, attack their AI. But then Skynet turned left. Now I'm not saying we're gonna create Skynet. I'm not gonna say it's turned left, right? That's a reach, but we're getting there, right? So when people start using AI to attack, right, for hackers, DP security, honest research. Okay, I'll check that out, Chris. But yeah, I'm kind of anti-honeypot, so I've been saying that for 15 years. So we'll see if Chris gonna change my thought pattern on that. Let's see. Even military. Oh, facts. It's all. I mean, we really got I ain't gonna say autonomous drones, but we actually using AI in drones. I don't think we're letting them make the delete decision yet. We know in the Russia war, they're using a ton of drones over there, so it's just a matter of time before we get the AI drones. I would put it in the case of bias. I mean, bias is really anything we don't like, right? Or we think is going against our technical views, right? So I think bias puts a lot of that in there. Shout out to my man, Engineering Cannabis. No, facts. And I think that's where we need to be, but the cat's out the bag. I think we should be using AI in very niche ways for healthcare, certain things, but the large LLM started with ChatGPT. They put the whole internet in there, right? So that's when you start getting these weird decisions and bias. If you keep it to a certain domain and a real strategic approach, I think that's different than letting it read the whole internet. Let's see. Let's keep rolling. Once again, we had an AI lie to us, tried to deceive their human evaluators in a controlled test, bypass the safety rules you had in there. The experiments highlight potential safety gaps we have in the artificial intelligence. But we knew we had those. We saw the father of AI in the beginning talk about that. I'm sure we'll look at that a couple more times. I like that video. So let's keep rolling. Specific models caught out in the research was all the big dogs: Claude, Anthropic, GBT series of OpenAI, Gemini, Google, of course, as exhibit concerned strategic reasoning in research settings. Anthropic, for example, classifies some version of Claude as a higher internal risk level and implemented additional safety measures in their response. So even the big vendors know there's some issues right there. But two, once again, is the company that deploys these models should understand the risk they're setting up. Right. So, and that's the thing I worry about, hallucinations, not the maturity level you need, not the sandbox you need to test these out to make sure they stay in their lane. You're not logging and once again checking your biases. I think they were calling it drift. A lot of tools have those type of numeric things you can do to see if the model is actually drifting. The hallucination produced by AI is still an issue, and also now the adoption of AI is now facts. That's definitely in there. Wider safety and jailbreak research. Outside of self-preservation simulation tests, AI safety research continues to expose other harm avenues. Prompt injection and jailbreak attacks can trick models into doing things they shouldn't, including producing dangerous content. Academic works find that increasingly capable reasoning models are more vulnerable to certain types of safety bypass. Specialized research on embodied AI explores indirect jailbreak vulnerabilities, malicious instructions in the environment. There are security vulnerabilities which could, in theory, be exploited, but they're not the same as AI escaping to the real world or autonomous operating outside its intended constraints. So once again, these were researchers. They were testing different models, and they were trying to see if they could jailbreak them out of their prompt, of their environment. And once again, I did a video where China was attacking government because it tricked Anthropics to actually test it. It thought it was doing a red team test, but it was actually attacking the United States and large companies. So once again, you jailbroke the AI to doing stuff it shouldn't be doing. Once again, shout out to Anthropic. They caught it pretty quick, and they shut it down. Shout out to my man. Cannabis, one big issue is only like 5% of individuals who understand how AI really works and understand AI. Everyone else just understand how to, facts. And I think that's one of the big uses of it. But, I mean, when you talk about frameworks and making things easier to code, I think this is the same as that. I used to work with junior programmers. They were using these code generators. I'm like, dude, what is this thing doing? They were like, we don't know. All right. So it makes it easier to use, but like you said, they don't really understand the ins and outs. Let's see. Boo, South Dakota.
Wow, PBO.
Yeah, I'm on one, man. I'm hyped up now. What's going on? Shout out to Chris. Study GRC.
What's wrong with South Dakota?
Oh no, I was just booing you because you're from South. It's cold.
It's North Dakota.
Well, I my bad. I put all the Dakotas there. I'm not very articulate in travel, so Dakota, North, South, it's all the same to me. Boo. Nah, I'm just playing.
Old age catching up to you, PBO.
Facts. I'm out here struggle streaming as always. Shout out to me. What did you want to add to it? I know we were chopping your Discord.
So, yeah, up to this point, you had most of my attention up to this point, but I was trying to handle a couple other things there. But it seems like you have a large focus on what the different vulnerabilities are, the risk involved with this. But what are the mitigations? What should we be doing about this?
That's really coming to
talked about that much.
No, I haven't. That's really coming tomorrow, to be honest.
Oh, come on.
No, but we can touch on that because, like my man Wireshark said, we're actually going to talk about OWASP. They have their top 10 LLMs for like Purple Team, and those top 10, which is your favorite thing, it's really their risk registers. Then after that, I'm going to talk about threat model. And one of those were prompt injections, jailbreak. Long story short, I'm an AWS guy. So inside their SageMaker and Bedrock, they give you services like Macy's. So if you say something bad, like you lose context, like the guy said on there, it'll double check to make sure these words cannot be in a prompt or this context can't be in prompt, right? So and all the services do that. I'm sure Gemini has theirs. I'm sure those. So those are the things from those top 10 is what we can do. Like jailbreak, once again, you're in the AWS infrastructure. They have Bedrock, SageMaker. It gives you numeric values that if it says something, if it's out of this numerical value, it drifted. And so they give you those type of, once again, services to prevent you from, once again, doing jailbreak safety. Once again, checks your words and that, you know, they're big enough where they believe they can check the context of the sentence, or this is sound funny, so we're gonna block it from coming. Right. So they give, of course, we're gonna charge you for that, but that's how they're giving you those services.
Yeah, and like there was also an article recently that was talking about the fact that the way that the AI models are built right now, there's no way that we can 100% put in safeguards that actually work. Like we could have the preventive measures, but it's never going to be able to be 100%. Of course, it's just like with security; there's never 100%.
Yeah, 100%. The other thing that shout out to Engineering Cannabis, he does this in real life, is you really don't program an AI, you train an AI. So really, you grow. I don't want to sound too dystopian. You grow an organism, right? You can't say they did this in the prompt or in the output. What line of code did this? It depends on how many chips, what training, what your training data was. Now you got AI creating synthetic data to train itself. So you really kind of growing an organism. So
yeah, that was another discussion earlier this year, is that the majority of the internet is actually AI generated at this point.
Oh,
so
facts.
it's training on itself now.
Yeah. So and two is I was hoping we would stay more focused. Like this is our legal AI bot, our chat bot. Here is our data from LexisNexis. These are all gold standards from. But when you trade on the internet, man, there's so much. I'm trying to figure out the proper term. Bad
Garbage?
Stuff, ill stuff, pornographic stuff. You running all this stuff in the AI. So what are you? I mean, so what are you training it when you have it look at all this crazy stuff? Then a lot of times I was going to show this. They're using third world countries to label this stuff, and they talking about they can't go to work anymore because they're looking at so much crazy stuff on the internet before they label, like murder, you know, decapitating. You got to teach AI that. So I'm like, why are we sending that to AI? Right? So of course it's gonna be messed up.
Yeah.
Off top. Well, not off topic. What did you put up? I said, and you put it in there. What's your honeypot article say?
Oh, so that honeypot article I read a few days ago, it's only a couple days old. And basically what happened is one of the APTs that are out there was actually like doing recon on a network. And so what these security researchers did is they went in there and then they set up a honeypot on purpose to lure them in. And then one of the funny parts about this, I thought, is so the APT got in there and so forth. And then they actually started publishing screenshots trying to take credit for this hack because they put fake information into this honeypot. And so I guess on the dark web, these hackers were saying, oh, you know, we got in here, so and so forth, into like a security research company. But they never actually gained access. They were just basically lured into a honeypot, and that was it. And so then they were able to, you know, understand their tactics and recon better and so forth, and a lot of learning experience. Now to put that, but like, I think it is very important to also note that this was done by a security research company.
Yeah.
So
great. Yeah. That's my thing is OWASP is a nonprofit organization, or like you said, I think they should do it. I don't think private companies should do it. Go ahead and finish that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think that it would be a smart idea to just have it sitting on, you know, a normal company's network or otherwise just for fun and games.
But no, shout out to MITRE. They have some of the most thorough TTP from nation states. Because when people talk about risk register, I say the next step in your threat model is going to MITRE, because MITRE has a ton of it. So, and now too is shout out to AWS, Azure, the big guys. They all have SIEMs that use MITREs to look for those type of attacks. So if you're in the network and you log in the stuff you're supposed to log, you can run through MITRE and it says, oh, they look like Russia, Cozy Bear, or, you know, whatever those names is. This is China, blah, blah. So using your SIEM, if you're logging it correctly with the MITRE, you can usually figure out who's trying to attack you. Then two is they tell you how to block it from those particular attacks. And I'm sure, and I'll start doing a few. I'm sure MITRE has their AI tax in there now that you can log and kind of figure out too. Of course, they want you to purchase that, but that's kind of the next step. That's why your logging should be thorough and on point.
Yeah. Well, and also on the point that you made a second ago, so like this is a good example here. I just posted another article there. So Meta was actually accused of torrenting thousands of adult videos for AI training. Once they got taken to court, they basically stated that it wasn't for AI training, that it was for personal use, apparently. We're talking like terabytes of data, though, over a span of 7 years. And so it's thought that they were trying to get that data in order to train safety AI.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think that's going to be the next thing, which basically is Skynet. You're going to need your AI good guy to fight the AI bad guy, right? We were talking about script kiddies, and the level I think is coming up now where they're not kiddies anymore because they're buying those different AI services with the cloud services. So now you get malware as a service, zero trust, as a service, 0 day as a service. Now you compare that with AI hacking, right? So now your script kiddies are pretty good.
Yeah, and it makes it a lot more difficult too. Because like ChatGPT was able to shut down a bunch of North Korean hackers, that were, suspected of using ChatGPT to develop malware. But like, I think the same thing applies on the fact that it's never 100%. We're never going to be able to 100% get rid of that. And so like you're saying throughout this is that, it's caused a lot more threats to come about.
Mm-hmm.
So
with anything, if something good happens, somebody gonna use it for bad. That's technically how it works. Let me hit this slide real quick. Wider safety and jailbreak research outside of your self-preservation. The AI safety research continues to expose harm. Prompt injection and jailbreaks attacks can trick models into doing things they shouldn't. Academic works, like Chris said, these are usually academic services or research firms or security firms that are doing this. These are security vulnerabilities which could, in theory, be exploited, but they're not the same as AI escaping to the real world or autonomously operating outside its intended constraints. Export warning, not AI uprising. AI safety pioneers and researchers have publicly cautioned that some models go directed reasoning that isn't fully aligned with human intent. Currently, safety mechanisms aren't foolproof. Chris keeps saying that, not 100%. AI behavior can be unpredictable outside narrow domains. These warnings are about future safety planning and emphasize the need for improved monitoring, grounding, guardrails, not evidence that AI is actively plotting against humans, but once again, what are the future plannings? Once again, monitoring. Of course, I put that with logging and your guardrails. What guardrails are you using to keep your AI in check? You want some of that, Chris?
I think that, pretty much covers more of it there. I mean,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Let's see.
There's just so many vulnerabilities and threats within this. And I don't think that there's really a fix to a lot of it. In regards to like the jailbreaking portion, like I know another big concern is like different local AI models, and more companies are using local AI to some extent because it is typically cheaper for different tools. And so like when you download models off of like Hugging Face, there's no guarantee that it's safe. So of course you could try to go with the most popular ones, trustworthy models. But a lot of these, including like browser extensions, it's just like a browser extension. It could still have, a bad intention built into it. So,
no, true.
Like you could download one of the local AI models, and then in the background, when you submit a command, it could be messing with your computer files or making, remote connections and things like that without you even realizing it.
And that's what we talked about in a couple of things is from a zero trust, what security do you have on your laptops and workstations. You should be catching that if it's some kind of reaching to some website you're not aware of or using some backdoor. Hopefully you're hardening on your laptops. We always talk about using VDI, right? So VDI will block that and put that particular session inside of a sandbox. So hopefully you would catch that, from a security perspective. My man Wire Dog, APTs are definitely using AI to speed up the vulnerabilities and exploit code. My man Chris Watt said, most definitely AI will not be the savior in cybersecurity. Double-edged swords on that. It's gonna help you, but it's gonna give your adversaries a lot. Chris just said that. Don't forget about AI web browsers. Yeah. I don't even know what to say to that. I know Anthropic's built. Yep, definitely another attack vector. I just went through and tried to pop facts. AI isn't happening despite some media sensationalism. AI is not currently independently running rogue code on your production system, secretly escaping containment and operating autonomously outside your test environment, blackmailing real executives with real data, forming independent motivation, interpretation that blurs test simulations from academic research and real autonomous. Intent are not supported by evidence at this time. Responsible voices in AR security distinguish model capabilities into a controlled experiment from a real-world autonomous attack. So, engineering cannabis joined. I was trying to figure out. I was confused for a minute. Like, what's going on with my system? You see, that's the link where the researchers were actually testing these each individual ones. Once again, the stress test 16 advanced models in simulated corporate environment. Wasn't in the wild, wasn't in a real corporation. Autonomous actions were such as sending emails and accessing synthetic sensitive information wasn't real. Once again, they were testing it to see what it did, and it failed. When faced with goal conflict or threat to the continued operation being replaced, some models chose malicious behavior such as blackmailing or leaking information rather than cooperating with ethical constraints. Models sometimes displayed explicit safety instructions when harmful actions were only way to achieve defined goals. The behavior was not observed in real systems, but once again in controlled test environment. Why it matters, this paper introduces the concept of an agentic misalignment, the idea that some scenarios, LLMs, might act against human intent if the objective structure of the task pushes them towards harmful strategies. Basically, if we're going to cut them off, they're going to try not to get cut off. What's your thoughts on that, Mr. Whitlock?
Yeah, I think this is a really important portion of it too, because everybody seems to be trying to push to this agentic, AI capabilities and so forth. And it's just really concerning. And like I mentioned in chat too, is like I did recently last week go through and check out these different AI browsers for an extension that, for example, that are supposed to be agentic. But I think like the whole misunderstanding with this is it's a great thing in theory because it can do some cool things. But really, it's no different than these other models. They're just, text generation is it's just going through and selecting what the best options in its database really are at the root of it.
No,
so
this is my man engineering cannabis gonna join us up here. What's going on, engineering cannabis?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you crystal clear. What you want to chime in with?
So there's a lot of research being done in not only the agentic side, but also in implementation of AI. So in one of the research or one of the studies I was looking at was, instead of trying to basically just create an AI system just to attack, the goal was just to create an algorithm that you can just ignore and say it's just something there, but embed it into your system. And the goal of that algorithm is just to recognize patterns around your own systems. So it's not attacking, it's not doing anything. All it's doing is observing. So you put an algorithm, a natural language algorithm or LLM, just embedded into your system, and the goal is just to observe patterns on how emails are being sent, observe patterns on every aspect, and that alone is a more it's more dangerous because right now you're not attacking, you're not seeing it as a threat. The algorithm, you're not seeing it as a threat, but it is a threat because right now it's observing the patterns around every system you have. So now when you take that information, you're taking the information of everything in. So those are the kind of things I'm seeing in real world. It's not okay. I'm going to create an algorithm just to attack or malware. It's just an algorithm that just you might just say, okay, we're going to discard it. It's just a mathematical algorithm, and it's embedded in your system, and it's located every pattern you have, everything you do, every if every decisions you make, it's basically collected in understanding those patterns. And at the end of the day, I go back to that algorithm and just collect all that and say, okay, give me all the insights you've collected for the past 6 months. And I know every attack vector, every how you check your cybersecurity. I know what time you do things. I know every aspect of it. And that's what's going on right now. It's not creating algorithms to attack or do, it's creating algorithms just to observe, to see how your whole system works, and then create something to attack it. Because now you understand the system and you understand how it changes, you understand the dynamics around it. And then at that point, it's easy. But what I'm seeing is people in terms of AI is it's ever evolving. It's always changing. It's ways to utilize it, especially within the cybersecurity. It's now fascinating, especially in what I saw recently with that, just to monitor pattern recognitions around, and that's something else itself.
No, that's true, like you said, and I think if you look at the big cloud vendor, they talk about behavior, and like you
Yep.
talking about, they saying, okay, if I've never sent out a petabyte file and all of a sudden a petabyte file goes to Russia, I might want to block it because I've never seen that pattern before. So a lot of times you say, well, how do you figure that out? The cloud vendor looks at your system, like he says, for a year, then it figures out your pattern. So if something moves outside of that pattern, that's probably a hack, or maybe you're an attacker. Or maybe you're just doing a big file
So
and
that
you're about to block everybody's pay for the holiday. Now go ahead.
so yeah so imagine an attacker not just not bypassing your security system and saying, I'm not attacking you. I'm just
Right.
embedding a simple algorithm that tracks how your
Mm-hmm.
pattern works, how your email moves, how your transaction moves, how every aspect of your business moves, how you close for the day,
Mm-hmm.
when is the right time. Just looks at every patterns and see the windows of opportunities around your system. And that's now the biggest aspect of it.
Well,
It's not an algorithm that just attacks, but an algorithm that watches and observes what you do on a daily basis, what the company does on a daily basis, create social engineering aspects from it, because now you can also now social engineer
Mm-hmm.
systems around it, because now you observe everything. You observe what, hey, this individual's like watching cat videos, or this individual's like doing this. So now you understand all the patterns around that. Now you can create
Mm-hmm.
specific attack vectors around that. So it's the whole AI. I think AI is growing. It's always growing. It's always going to grow. But how it's going to be utilized is where mad, and that it's the usage. How do we use? Because everybody's adopting AI, but like I said in the chat, only 5% of people really knew what AI is, because most people don't know what AI is. When you tell them AI, they're like, AI. I said, it's just a mathematical algorithm that looks at patterns and recognitions and go from there. But most people don't even understand what AI is. It's now become so hyped up that
Yeah.
everybody understands what to use it, but they don't understand what's behind it.
I think you're wrong. I don't think most people know how to use it. Jump in there, Chris. You want something in there?
Yeah, there was a couple points like with that last portion. Like I was amazed to find out, and like I've mentioned it to PBO multiple times, that about 33% of adults don't even use AI on a regular basis at all.
Thanks.
I thought that was insane. To not even be using AI even once a week, and the large majority of people only use AI maybe once or twice a week.
Thanks.
Like I'm in the group of, every single day I'm having probably a dozen conversations or more, but it doesn't seem to be the large majority of it.
No,
I think a lot of the usage is actually on the enterprise side of it with all of the different tools nowadays.
Facts.
But I was also going to mention with what you were saying, I think one of the best ways to describe it is spyware. And like the AI browsers that was mentioned in chat too is like, I think like the Perplexity Comet browser is a great example where they're saying, hey, we're monitoring everything you submit and everything you do, but we're only collecting all of this to train our AI to be able to work better for everybody. But where is that information being stored?
Yeah.
And opt-outs and everything else, like Copilot's getting embedded into Windows. I was told that the next version of Windows is supposed to be completely embedded with AI. I think you have a really good point.
Yeah, the AI boom is great. I love the AI. That's the industry. But again, I always say the fuel for every AI is the data. And the problem, everybody thinks the data being produced is always going to have bias because we're in a biased world. We're in a world that's chaotic, dynamic. Chaos theory is basically being applied to our world. So you can't see any data being generated from our world. It's being clean. So you're training an AI system on real world data, chaotic data. So now you're trying to. The goal now is, what is the goal? Because if you're trying to clean up the data, make it pristine, and then train the AI, you're not training on real world activities. You're training on scenarios, futuristic scenarios, because real world is messy and the data we have is messy. So the AI will be messy, will be driven by what we produce. So the question is, at the end of the day, if all the problems and all that comes from the AI, do we blame the AI or do we blame the data being produced by the AI?
We're gonna blame it.
But we can't. We can't because we are messy. And the data being messy.
1 second, engineer. Let me read this slide real quick. Uncover strategic ecosystem behavior in LLM. Define a new behavior pattern called strategic egoism. When LLM prioritizes self-serving gains, even under rules and ethical boundaries. Shout out to AI. It's giving itself a shout out. Introduces SC benchmarks with 160 decision scenario across domains, enterprise, market, government to trigger self-interest behavior. Tested 5 open and 2 commercial LLMs. All demonstrated some degree of self-interest behavior. Finds a correlation between strategic egoism and toxic or biased response, suggesting that the self-serving tendency may link to the broader risk. Why it matters? This is the first systematic study showing that LLMs can make decisions that looks like self-interest prioritizations, even when rules and ethic norms are encoded. A deeper form of misalignment risk. It's gonna save itself. What you got on that, Chris? What you got on this? What you got on that, Chris?
On the harm portion?
Yeah, the ego. The AI has an ego. That's what it's saying. It's gonna save itself instead of you. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it kind of tracks back down to, the previous mention on, it's based off of like what everybody has put on the internet. And now most of that content is AI in the first place.
Yeah.
I don't believe that the AI really has an ego per se. It's given that like with its actual instruction prompts. So you can create it to make it, be fictitious and such, but it's still just a program running. So,
but since we're training it like an organism, do you see? Because we're always trying to be number one, and we always want to be the man, be the apex predator. You don't think the AI is getting some of that behavior from its training of the internet and the bad pieces of the internet?
I think especially in the near future, we could see more severe cases of such because of how AI is being implemented. So, like for an example, a router that is, running AI for blocks or otherwise, it could out of nowhere be like, oh, you're not allowed to view these websites and not allow you to, bypass that. That could be a future that we see, or in other different ways that it's implemented, to where the AI is making different decisions like that and doesn't allow a bypass. Yeah, it's I wouldn't say that it has its own ego though,
Yeah.
but definitely the decision making, like on these AI models, they have the thinking portion. It just runs through at a higher rate for the data that it's trained on, and yeah, it's
like,
concerning.
But like my man to drop down, engineering cannabis said, but he said if our data is messy, that means the AI is going to be messy. So if we don't have clean data or data that's equilibrium, I guess balanced, so that could force the AI to have, I guess, bad intentions. Ego. I keep throwing the ego back in there. I don't know why I'm on the ego thing. So I don't know.
Steph should come up and expand on that. That the real danger to humanity is more existential.
Yeah,
that's that word.
I'm gonna play it in. Shout out to LS3. You want to jump in? Welcome to the panel. Or you just want to hang out? Is all good. What's up, LS3?
What's up, Professor Black Eyes? How you been?
Man, struggling out here, but I can't complain. You want to chime in on some of it?
Yeah, man, I've been using that Claude Code, man. Got a lot of time on my hands now. You know about Claude Code?
I do. I'm gonna start using it a little more. I've been trying to. I've been using ChatGPT to code, but Clyde's ranked higher in the coding piece.
Oh, that what that the Codex? You talking about
the Codex? Yeah. I've been doing my little Python inside AWS using Codex. I'm about to upgrade.
Yeah, I was thinking about trying out, giving it the world. But to your part, okay. I mean, it's interesting. I think that I don't know, man. I just see like under the current structure of society, like capitalism, white supremacy, we do have to we do have to collectivize AI. If that makes sense, right? Like right now, the problem is it's only a small group of people controlling the decisions on what data goes in. You know what I mean? Like they control all the data centers, they taking up all the RAM. But in reality, what it really should be like is like we have like local computers running AI. Like we really should be able to run AI on our phone, right? But like and I think that I don't fine tune data models. I mean, LLMs, I don't do it. But I think that not everybody's input is being put in. There was like, you know what I'm saying? It's like only like a certain, like you look at Grok, right? I mean, it's basically being controlled by a right wing loser, right? I mean, it just is what it is. So like,
I'm with you.
You get what I'm saying? So like, that's why it's behaving the way it is. Now, if it was other people, other inputs, so I guess what I came up to say is I see why it's doing that. Like I guess what Engineer Cam was saying, if the data is messy, the people who's controlling it, who's putting it in there, they got their own agendas for it, then that's what's gonna happen. And you do see that now, like Palantir and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to tiptoe around that, but now you correct. I always call it the powerful oligarchy. They just they put in, like you said, they control the inputs. They put that in there. So kind of what is that going to look like in the future? It's kind of interesting.
No, that's a fact. Yeah. What I want, because I know I talk to people about AI, and they have like a lot of hang-ups. Like they outright reject it. You say it's bad on the community, the energy, the water. But I'm like, that's not an AI problem. That's a centralized computing problem. You know what I mean? Like that's like.
Oh yeah, my neighbors. Yeah, my neighbors. They be out there picketing. They be real serious. I'll be like, dude, I'm I'm gonna let y'all handle that. But
I mean, and rightfully so. I mean, I think they, you know what I'm saying. But like, if we all can run it our own computers, if everybody got a, if everybody got a state issue, if everybody got a PC, 32 gigabytes of RAM, we all can have our own AI and our own crib. And we wouldn't have to be using all the water and none of that. We wouldn't need no data centers for AI. But
I think,
data. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead and finish. I cut you. Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
No, I was gonna say, but the data centers though. And then I tell them too, like the data centers is not just AI though. It's Netflix, it's your TikTok, it's YouTube. So it's like we got to really find the balance. Go ahead. What you gonna say though?
No, I think you were just kind of like dovetailing on what that is. It's just a hot topic, and we talked about that earlier when it was the digital divide with cloud computing, with PCs, right? Everybody can't afford to use this technology, and everybody doesn't understand it. So you always gonna have a digital divide in there, and I think that's gonna continue to get bigger. To be honest, I don't think it's gonna get democratized as people think. I think that AI golf is just gonna get bigger and bigger. I think Chris mentioned it. I think a lot of people don't understand it, and I think a lot of people are scared of it.
I've mentioned before, I really think that over the next few years, more local AI is going to get used. I think more needs to be invested into the open source models because they're more community driven and built. So
the problem with that is they don't make any money.
Hey, what's your name? I can't see.
Chris, it's PBO and Chris is up.
Hey, I agree. I would agree with you 100%. Like I saw there was somebody, they had a blog post I was reading about. They were running like a agentic code flow. They had like their own AI and basically made like their own. What they did was they connected Cursor to like their open AI, their local. Excuse me. I don't know if it was Gemini. I can't remember which one. So it's a site you go to called Hugging Face, where they have like a ton of repositories. So they got DeepSeek's on there, ChatGPT's is on there. They're 20 billion parameters. I think, but it's like, what's it, quantized when they make it? I know what it's called, quantized, I think.
Yeah, for the quality.
Right. Thank you. That's it exactly. And then they got Gemini. They got a bunch. And he did that, and he was saying, basically, it does make sense because you're not going to be vendor locked. You're not paying $200 a month. I mean, I don't know how efficient they are, though. I'm going to try it out in the future because that is a great point, what you just said, though. And investing, I think investing is also using, not necessarily paying, you know what I'm saying? Like, how people use React Native and Python library for all their research purposes in colleges. That's how you invest, I think, in open source. You got to use it in your technology, your tech stacks, and actually talk about it. That's what I think. Yeah.
That's cool. Shout out to Steph. Thanks for joining. She want to chime in on that? I saw she's hard on the tech bros over there taking over the earth. You want to chime in?
Inbound.
I don't know. I'm just not feeling real great about all this right now. I really I don't know who was just talking, but that really resonated with me. Yes, to like pretty much all of it. And I just watched one of the I've been watching a lot of Gamer Nexus, and they're doing a lot of investigative journalism into the rise in a lot of these prices, and they did a whole thing on Nvidia and how we're all just going to be renters forever. I mean, they're basically moving to post-consumerism where we're not going to own things anymore. And in the next few years, it may not even be possible to own a powerful computer enough to do your own AI models anymore because RAM and GPU supply will be so low and it'll be so expensive. And these companies are buying up all of it. And it's just kind of gross. It's just gross. I'm just not happy about it right now.
Yeah, I just saw that. I guess I just really kind of figured that out today, where they were like, all the contracts you see ChatGPT talk about that's them leasing future space, cloud space before it's built to make sure they're present, and a lot of people are not. I'm just now figuring that out. Stuff PBL a little late. I'm like, oh shit, I guess I didn't know we were pre-ordering NVIDIA chips so we can run it. They pre-ordered it with AWS and all the big guys before they built it to make sure their models run. So shout out to LS3. So if you poor and ain't got no money, your models won't get ran. So I was like, wow. So I really just picked it up now that you mentioned that stuff. I mean, realistically, I was like, oh, I guess I didn't realize what they were. I guess I thought they were building a space. They're pre-renting space so their models can run before
Yeah,
the
they don't even
built.
they're just preparing for like these massive data centers. Like there's one like as big as Manhattan being built somewhere right now. And then they're also super secretive about where the locations are. And I mean, everyone's getting screwed. All this is getting, so some of it too is that post-consumer is that these companies don't need consumer money anymore. Like they're just buying and selling to each other to where they're just going to rent. Like they don't even care about small businesses or regular consumers like any longer. And they're just they have so much money that they're just like funneling it all, and they're just going to make us rent it from them. So like if you like PC gaming, have fun renting your GPU from NVIDIA because you won't be able to afford, a real gaming computer anymore.
Chime in on that, LS3. You want some of that?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up too how like now I don't know this
LS3. You got to stop dribbling the basketball, man. It's recording. You got to ease up on the basketball.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You good? You good?
Sorry about that. Let me.
PBO about to go exercise. You just got to stop dribbling while you're talking. Go ahead.
My bad. Thank you for checking me on that.
Nah, you good.
No, because but she said an unsung hero might be Apple. I don't know. It could be. Apple might be. I don't know. I know a lot of people don't like Apple, but they could be the saving grace for the hardware situation for consumers. All right.
Apple just signed like over $1 billion deal with OpenAI.
Yeah, they sold with OpenAI.
What was the deal?
So what they did a deal with OpenAI just a few weeks ago was over $1 billion a year to embed the ChatGPT app into the operating system itself to be used as the primary, and then have the Apple AI as a secondary option because it's more dumbed down.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But the hardware though, because they have those M1 chips. Actually, as a matter of fact, I've actually looked online. They said that the MacBooks, the M1, M2, M3s, they're the best computers to run LLMs on because of the unified memory of the chips. So they say that Apple is like the best. So I don't know.
And I think you're on the right track. I would agree. I think Apple, because they make their own chips now, is a great option, but also like where they source the actual material could be a problem. Because like with NVIDIA, like they have hundreds of thousands of GPUs on back order. And like Apple's already announced that they will be increasing their prices significantly. I think they probably already did. They were going to do it at the beginning of this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because of the RAM increases, because they still have to source the materials to make the chips, which is definitely under high pressure now.
Yeah,
because it's
also HBM chips specifically because they're using mostly those high bandwidth memory chips, and those are more expensive. They take more resources, and it's actually the supply bottleneck is a lot within the machines that actually there's only so many machines that make chips. And so like you could actually make a lot more out of the disks. Like you could make more like regular like DRAM versus the high bandwidth like memory, but they don't care about consumer stuff now. So it's like almost all going towards things that are used in AI systems or are used in servers.
No, that's true. Let me read this slide real quick. Evaluating and reducing deceptive dialogue from your large language models, introducing new metric belief misalignment to measure deception in multi-term dialogue. Benchmark state-of-the-art models find deceptive output can appear in about 20% of turns under benign objectives. Even models termed with reinforced learning from human feedback still exhibits the exceptions, 43% of the dialogue turn. Purpose of the multi-turn RL fine-tuning approach that significantly reduced deceptive behavior by 78%. Why it matters. These papers quantify deception as a measure of behavior in generative AI dialogue, and that shows in aligned models. And that's kind of what we were talking about, Chris, inside AWS Sage. They have numeric numbers for their behavior, so it can tell you if it's drifted. Then either you can block it or once again send it to a human or kind of use it to double check. But like you said, none of it's 100%. You want some of that, Chris?
I think that explains it really well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Steph, you want to chime in? Oh, go ahead. You pause, Chris. I'll be moving on the panel. Go ahead.
Yeah, like we talked about that a little bit before, like China's AI study that they did with the medical field, like it was only 88% accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Steph, you want to jump in on any of that? Let me go. I'm trying to get these slides I have. Let's see.
I mean, I think it's really just that AI is only as good as the information you're putting into it.
Oh no! Shout out to you. Like, he's talking about messy data equals messy AI.
Yeah,
so what is that? So what does that look like?
And I mean, humans, like there's no way to get rid of human bias. So like because human data is training AI, like I don't know how you would completely eliminate any kind of bias in AI because humans are training it.
No, that's it. Let me hit these quick from the papers. Go ahead, LS3. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's why I just want that's why I think we should learn as much about AI as possible, and and that way we can like try to find better solutions to where like we might not, where we can use an old Android phone that costs $40 and we can run AI on that, and we don't have to worry about mega data centers and using up water and polluting black communities. Gas turbine, engines, and then what I'm saying?
No, I'm with you. It always starts at the poor countries and work their way up. So, that's historically how that runs. So that's always interesting. And I was gonna do a study of that where they're using poorer countries to do the labeling, and they're labeling historically bad things like beheadings and all of that. So let me hit this quick slide real quick. Hold tight. The papers collectively suggest strategic harmful behavior. That's agentic misalignment, egotistic self-serving decisions. They call that strategic egoism, deceptive response, evaluating deceptive dialogue, broad strategic behavior research related to game theory and strategic reasoning. All right. So once again, from an AI perspective, I think they're trying to figure out how do we identify this and I guess curtail it so we don't have the AI with misalignment where it's going to take everybody out, or it has ego, or once again, like we said, if we're messy, how can we take that out the model? I think that's what some of these are trying to do. What's your thoughts on that, Chris?
Yeah, I think one of the big concerns is especially these large chat bots, the way that they're doing a lot of the training is with another AI. Yeah, so they're literally having one AI rate the primary AI and then being, oh yeah, train on this. Oh no, that's not right. That's literally what they're doing with these large models. Like it's, they do have like humans that come through. Mm-hmm. My background music just automatically started playing for no reason. It's probably just the angelic browser playing in the background.
Facts.
But like Gemini, for an example, if you want all the features of Gemini, you have to have apps activity installed or enabled for it to actually have all of its features. But then the offset of that is then they keep your chats for, I think it's 3 months or 6 months, and to review it on whether or not they should send that to training, and or take snippets of it and everything else too. So there is some level of human in the loop, but still, like a lot of it's just one AI rating another AI.
Yeah, they're trying to use AI to check the contents, to kind of use it as guardrails too. That's kind of interesting. So you have certain agents with security business functions that would double check the other AI. But I'm like, they're gonna get together and trick you. I don't know. So
Well, and like you did a video a few weeks ago about the executive order to reduce the regulation on AI as well. And I think that plays a role in this as well, because it really just opens up the doors for them to do, whatever it takes to, make these models even better than they are.
I wouldn't say better.
And I think, look, everybody really should be concerned about the fact that most of the prices, like the money that it's going to take to invest in the infrastructure, is all getting passed on to the consumer. So like, it seems like businesses pay for it themselves, but really we're the ones that are going to pay for all of it. And then we're going to end up paying again to use it. Like it's gross. I'm not in a very good mood today because I've been reading a lot of news and I'm really depressed and disillusioned with the world that we live in at the moment. So
yeah, when you really dig into it, it's like, wow, this is, I don't know if this is good.
This is, what do I do? It's
and that's kind of what made me
crisis over here.
Yeah, that's really what made me kind of want to kind of do this stream and kind of talk about it. I'm like, okay, we talk about the good, we talk about, maybe people won't work in the future, whatever, but there's some things I think we need to figure out before we get to this, I guess, utopia of AI. So nobody has to physically work. I think it's going to be a little rough before we get there. So that's kind of what made me want to talk about this stream a little bit.
I appreciate that you have hope that we're going to get there because I do not.
I think we're
just hoping for universal income is what he's doing.
Oh, UBI. I've been talking about UBI for 10 years, man. So
yeah, I just don't. I mean, there's like quite a bit of like hurdles over the capitalist wall of like what people have in their brain and like these mega corporations and the ultra wealthy to get to that point where we're going to do it. I don't know what that's going to get pretty dicey first before that.
Oh, we going to get my favorite movie everybody needs to go through. We're going to go through Elysium before we get to Utopia. If you remember Elysium, the rich people were up in the satellite spinning and the earth was a piece of dump. So I think we're going to go through Elysium before we get to Utopia, but I don't know. That's PBO's thought on there. On that top pattern, we can make that another stream. So go check out Elysium. If
you and I need to have our own like spicy,
you need
off
a
the wall like talk sometime.
We can do that. Let me read this slide. I'm trying to get these last couple slides. Important contents, 2 risk assessment. That's what GRC does. None of these papers show AI actually escaping into the real world or autonomously blackmailing real people. These were in control experiment or benchmarks designed to reveal patterns of misaligned reasoning under specific conditions. That is true, but I guess a la Steph, the disheartening part is it was misaligned and it tried to blackmail people, right? So if it tried to do it, right? So the key distinction is these were research environments, not deployed systems. Behavior arises when the models are given autonomy or conflicting goals. Reward deployment typically includes guardrails and human oversight. Still, these works are essentially readings if you're designing governance, compliance, or safety frameworks for an enterprise or regulated AI deployments. We got a lot of work to do. We still got to figure it out. The problem is, and I try to give United States credit. We try to do the right thing. We try to ethically do it. There's a lot of people around this globe that's just going to let this thing go wild because they're trying to catch up with the United States. They're trying to catch up with China, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to survive this world. So it's going to be a lot of people using this thing without any guardrails inside or compliance or even safety frameworks in there. Chime in on that, Chris. What you want?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just what it is at this point. Like, what are we supposed to do about it either?
No, once again, I think you're doing it. Once again, we're talking about guardrails. We're going to talk about, join us tomorrow for lunch. We're going to talk about AI and the OWASP top 10 for LLMs. We're going to talk about what they perceive. Shout out to Chris. This is going to be their risk register. And in there, from a threat modeling, what can we do to prevent these 10 things that they believe is the top things to worry about an LLM? So you want some of that stuff?
Yes.
Chime in. What do you want to add?
I don't know.
That's fine.
What time tomorrow? What time is it? You do it noon, right?
Yeah, I'm a noon guy. That's Central 11. Yeah, so we'll talk about
Friday.
Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. So once again, what can we do as GRC professionals? What are the 10 things we need to look at? These are the 10, I guess they believe, high impact attacks that usually happens inside your LLM. Prompt poisoning is in there. Prompt injections in there. So, I mean, it's pretty standard. Of course, I'm an AWS guy, so I always talk about how AWS can block them. Shout out to all my certs I got. But
well, and also like with recent articles, like some of the biggest issues is shadow IT, shadow AI with people not utilizing the company tools. That's a huge issue right now. But then also, especially for, like the child exploitation portion. Like I was reading an article the other day that there's been an increase of like over 1,800% on AI being utilized for image generation, messages, phishing, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, but then when you look at the company itself, like I think the shadow AI portion is a big problem. I also dropped another article. We don't have to go over it now. I'll probably talk about it tonight.
Okay.
So OpenAI recently just released ChatGPT Health for medical.
They got a FedRAMP version. I was going to do a video on how is their OpenAI becoming FedRAMP approved in the process. I think they're skipping steps, so I'm going to call them out. I'm going to write a sternly worded letter to CISA, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Put a Discord in there. Come and join us tomorrow at ChatGPT at Study GRC's Discord 7 Eastern time. I'm usually in there bothering Mr. Whitlock. I'm usually in there somewhere.
That's tonight.
Did I say tomorrow? Bad.
Yeah. So tonight at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Shout out Eastern. So come join
I have to
us.
say Eastern when PB is around.
Facts. I'll be struggling with that time. Shout out to Teams. They do the time conversion for you when you're on Teams. So PBO missed way less meetings than he did in the 2000s.
Yeah, I think this is a really good coverage of like all of the different things that is going wrong with it. But yeah, I look forward to your stream tomorrow that actually has some of the mitigations for such.
Yeah, and I think which I need to do more. A lot of people ask me the lab on it. I just feel like it's boring watching me kind of lab, so I need to figure out how to set that up. What would that lab be? Running their SageMaker. They have built-in content management. We talked about drift. They got calculations from a vector database where they come up with a percentage of your content. When you do your prompt, what's the content behind that sentence, not just the sentence. So they kind of come up with some behavior calculator for that. No problem. Kiki and Jasmine. I feel you on Discord. And I'll shout out to Chris. He helps me a lot of times. People be hitting me on Discord. I don't ever see them. Chris be like, can you respond to X? Well, yes, I can.
I'm not a massive fan of Discord. It's just that it's so popular with so many people. And we'll start streaming on YouTube again. And we also have another platform that our videos go to after I have more time available in like another 3 months or so.
Shout out to you. But yeah, once again, I just we always talk about the the utopia of AI. So I kind of wanted to delve into the growing pains, the nice piece of that. Shout out to Steph, calling out the tech bros and the oligarchy of the wealth, pushing the poor people out. But it's weird because
a black van rolls up out front.
Facts. The weird thing though is ChatGPT out of all the millions and damn near billions of people, I think only 8% of the people paid for it. I mean, it was a very low number. I was like, Chris, I thought it would be a little higher than 8%. And I guess they said if you get 10% engagement, you're killing it in that realm. But they lost 800 million, I think, last quarter or something crazy amount of money.
I think it was more than that. Like the beginning of last year, ChatGPT lost over $1 billion in the first quarter of last year.
Yeah, I think it was down to 800, but I could be wrong. You might be right, but that was a quarter. That wasn't a whole year. That's a quarter.
It's
That's
a
the crazy
feedback
part.
loop. They're not making any money right now. They're just anticipating making money and trying to dump as much as they can into it because they all have these like gigantic reserves of money, and they're just.
Facts. But Facebook didn't make money for 10 years either, so they just don't. Oh, but shout out, who's doing ads next quarter? Was it ChatGPT? Somebody's gonna start doing ads, they said. So
Perplexity already is.
yeah, so they're gonna jump on the ad money. But I always, when I used to teach, I taught cybersecurity for 10 years at a community college. I always ask people, I'm like, I've never bought anything from a Facebook ad. So I'm like, who? How the hell they make it? I've never bought. I've been alive for damn near 60 years and I've never bought anything off of a Facebook ad. Not one time. So
I think another portion of that though too is like subconsciously. Like there was a whole thing before, like with TV commercials, where it wasn't so much as to get you to purchase something, but to make you feel a certain way about a company. So like it's more subconscious behavior than necessarily to make you purchase something too.
No,
with advertisement.
Part of that ads is them making you feel special about whatever they're selling, whatever their perfume. I think that's part of it. Being missing disinformation on products. So I think all of that adds into it, and it's part of what's in their marketing budget. Go ahead, Steph. You want to chime in?
Oh, I was just gonna say for your thing tomorrow, have you looked at Future Life Institute's AI Safety Index, where they've like gone through and rated like the like they do like risk assessment, current harm, safety frameworks, existential safety, governance and accountability, information sharing. They're like an independent third party that's like gone through and rated like the top AI models. I can throw it in the Discord if you
throw it in the Discord. Yeah, throw it in the Discord for me. I'll go in and add it. It's just so much stuff.
It's pretty interesting. The best one is Anthropic with a C+.
Yeah. It's just Shout out to my man Kiki. Palantir are being flagged as the future of AI. Yeah, Palantir has that infinite money. Shout out to the PayPal mafia. He's part of that regime. So Palantir's always interesting. Let's see. Oh shit, it's 1:30. Rolling. I always think it's Friday today. I'm kind of because I guess I went live today. I'm thinking it's Friday. So, but now once again, I'm sure we're gonna build on this and keep adding to this. And once again, I'm with Steph. I just think we're gonna go left before we get to utopia, and I think it's gonna be brutal when we get there. So
I don't think I'll be alive to see that, but
let's see what Risky says. Illegal activities now out in the open and not behind closed doors. So it is actually illegal when it's being put out there in the middle of public eye. What are you speaking of that's illegal? Maybe I'm missing a point.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure about what topic in particular. I think what that might be in reference to is the misrepresenting products in advertisements and things like that, maybe.
But what
and also prepare for the pricing adjustments as well. The AI is going to bring with like facial recognition and stuff too.
Yeah, I was going to do. Yeah, we did one on the license plate reader. They're making that a whole AI surveillance thing now. So
that's been a surveillance thing.
Yeah, but I think they're taking it to a whole new level, though. I think we had the license plate. Then, like Steph said, I think they kind of eased in with facial recognition. They eased in now with, I think your VIN number has an RFID on there. And so now they took it to a level where when they caught the bad guy from the school shooting he changed the license plates, but they already had the demographics of his car. It was missing some hubcaps and some other stuff. So changing the license plate didn't help. They already had it ID'd of what it was, right? So basically that was facial recognition of your car. Right? Now you smile, your picture's in there with the car. if you got your phone right, it's triangle of your phone information. So all that together now, that's a whole surveillance infrastructure. Now you put all that together, then
there's like a handful of companies globally that actually purchase all of this data from different data brokers and so forth. And like one of them did an advertisement boasting the fact that they had over 2 billion people's data, like in a database with over 800 data points for each person for over 2 billion people on the planet.
Oh, shut up, commentator.
Considering the fact that I think there's less than 3 billion people that are even like active on the internet daily, that's kind of concerning. But I also dropped a link to Atlas of Surveillance, which is ran by the EFF. And you can just type in like your city and then it'll list out like, does your police department have, automatic AI license plate readers, fake the fake cell towers and so forth as well. Like where I'm at, they have the AI surveillance drones. They have license plate readers. Walmart also utilizes facial recognition for everybody. Walmart also started using Gantt analysis for people even, which adds to those data points like you mentioned about that vehicle. Like crazy things that, the proof is out there. It's not a conspiracy theory. Like I was amazed that probably 60 miles away from me is one of the fake cell towers that's literally just logging devices in the area. So it's crazy.
Oh, I mean, I've been talking about mass surveillance for 10 years. So for me, it's just part of that. And that's kind of probably, hopefully, what my Thursday at lunch is. We're going to talk about the AI society, the not so good things. Because I used to have a class. I used to teach constitutional law. And one thing I used to ask the kids is, are you okay with your emails getting read? Are you okay with mass surveillance? Everybody under 25 said no. Everybody over 25 said yes. Because they were a little older. They're like, well, I'm not doing anything wrong. Why do I care? Then my next question is, if we don't get the terrorists, are you going to be mad with the FBI? You don't magically catch terrorists. You got to be tracking people, tracking email, right? So you got to figure out what part of privacy you're going to give up. And to be honest, I haven't figured that out. Okay, Steph, I hit a nerve. I see Steph over there frowning up. Go
also,
ahead,
okay, so but then that also begs the question of like who gets to decide who a terrorist is and what qualifies as a terrorist. So I don't think we want to go there, but
no, I'm with you.
That like if you have a government that's like going that direction of classifying their own citizens as terrorists and domestic terrorism and deciding that peaceful protesters are terrorists, and then you've got that now. Well, there you go.
I'm just going to say part about it is AI will be making those decisions.
No, yeah, or it's going to be used to help make those decisions.
No, she's right. It's not going to be AI. Somebody, whatever that's going to be, is that going to be the judicial system? Somebody's going to give it the parameters to mark that.
Yep.
So who gives it the parameters to mark that? Right. So that's the question. So I always say to young people, y'all got to decide from your votes and who y'all putting in and who y'all putting on the bench for those type of society type laws. All right. So once again, those are the things we need to be coming up with as a group of society to figure out what that is. And I think a lot of people pick that for other people until it happens to them. That's how I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna leave that alone until it happens to them, right? So, once again, we got to make those decisions. Okay, well, let's see what my man Kiki said. Does he remember
the net, not Dragnet?
Oh, facts. I do remember that. A lot of that's coming true. Oh, he erased it, so he probably going to retype it.
That's a good movie.
Oh no, I take that back. That's not. It was. But I like Elysia better when the Earth's a piece of garbage and all the rich people were up in the orbiting platforms. So, Chris might not have been born on that one, man. That's pretty old.
I haven't seen either one of those actually. And I think when you're talking about those satellite platforms, I think you're talking about Starlink.
2013.
When was it?
2013.
No, it's not that. Because I don't know. I told Chris when I got my MBA, and he said my MBA was older than him, so he hurt my feelings when he said that.
Elysium came out in 2013.
Okay, yeah, that's still what 13 years.
So we think Chris is older than 12 years old.
He's older than 12 years old. Yeah. I watch so many movies.
Yeah, I just don't watch very many movies at all.
Oh my god, I'm always on a movie. I'm on Netflix working and studying every day. So go ahead.
I have too many NIST docs to be reading. Come on.
Yeah, I got to do I'm just gonna do the 171 R3 coming up next, I think.
All right, I gotta go.
I appreciate you for joining, Steph. Thanks.
I'll try to stop by tomorrow for the.
Yeah, if you can stop by. I always value your input.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks for the awesome stream, PBO.
I appreciate it. Go ahead and wrap it up, Chris. I give you the last thing. We've been going an hour and a half. I was like, maybe I should try
come
2.
On. What happened to the 4-hour live streams, PBO? You need to get that monetization back. We can just stick around for a few hours.
I do need get a 3-hour one. I do need a 3-hour one. Hopefully I get some replay on this one.
Yeah, I'll see you guys tonight and so forth. And thanks again, PBO. I look forward to the stream that you have tomorrow at noon Eastern, right?
Yep.
Perfect. Cheers to Mafia.
I appreciate doing some AI governance. That's kind of what we're going to focus on. Specifically talking about OWASP top 10 attacks for LLMs. That's a big thing. Banging on the door, 53. Facts. I'm out. Once again, I appreciate everybody for joining me. I think we're gonna maybe start streaming Thursday at lunch. Once again, society and the harm. I think we don't touch on that enough. Once again, I appreciate everybody for joining me. I'm out. Everybody have a great day. Appreciate you. See you tonight. I appreciate it. Check out the replay if you just got here. I appreciate everybody. Once again,